Awesome. So today is June 7th, 2021, and I now bring this meeting to and a start. Okay, can I get a motion? Can you second? All right, awesome. Okay, so we have minutes for today. The objective was to sort of go over our plan for the presentation to the commissioners. So we can actually move to approve that as well. So I motion to approve. Do you second?
Did they see the minutes?
All right, so let's get started.
Did they okay the minutes?
So
Can I just interrupt for a quick second? We just want to make sure we're documenting everything. Did you in fact approve your minutes?
yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
fantastic. Then we're good. Keep rolling. Thank you.
Yeah. Of course. So I'm just gonna put the presentation up since you may not be familiar with it, which is totally fine. Just give me one moment to share my screen. And while we're waiting, how are you doing? I haven't been able to see you in a while. Is school good?
School is good.
Good. Yeah, 10th grade's a pivotal year.
It's not that bad. I just realized how much it is, how quiet it is with the seniors gone.
Yeah, especially with hybrid. I only have I have one class where I'm just completely alone. So yeah. All
I was
right, awesome.
completely alone during one of my classes today.
Oh wow. Well, you know, you get one-on-one. A bit better. Okay. So we were also gonna review the presentation, but it was more for us planning out how we're gonna present it. But since not everyone's here, we'll figure that out later. Right now, I guess we can just really see what your thoughts are on it, and what you think of our plans for 2021. Is it sharing? Is it sharing? Is it sharing? Oh, I think it's sharing. Okay.
Is Brianna there?
Awesome. So I started out the presentation with showing how we've grown in the last 4 years. It'd be 3 years. And it just sort of shows how we started and then how we're going to go through into the future. So my idea is to create a more dynamic unit and work as a team to create positive change in St. Mary's County. And now you're probably going to ask, well, why and how? But I put the slide of our accomplishments to go a little bit more into our past. So here is the youth the YMCA initiative, which was from the other board members that were on the commission, which they were actually quite successful. They just passed the budget for that, which is really awesome. And they also discussed like racial injustice within the criminal justice system. And, they face those kind of issues and sort of advise the public on what they thought, which I think is great. And now I connect that into our future. So these are my ideas. I'm thinking that we could really improve the youth of this community through giving them opportunities to grow. And, having that public awareness and that outreach. So that means like leadership programs and volunteer programs and environmental engagement programs. Like just giving opportunities to these kids, I think would be really beneficial. And also just for the leaders that are, putting it together, like my idea is having student ran sort of programs. Not all of them, of course, but some. Like, let's say I ask you, what is climate change, hypothetically? I'm not going to put you on the spot because, it's mean. But would you be able to explain that? Or if I asked you about ocean acidification, And these are like big things that are impacting the environment that will continue to impact the environment and thus us and our natural resources. And that's a huge issue. And if we're not educated, how can we make decisions on what is best for the progression of society? So now I put a picture of the choice program, which is what I'm working on in Chopticon, and I hope to grow. And then I go into more depth about the initiatives, such as the choice program, which moves to, entice and embody, get students to embody courage, hope, optimism, involvement, and change. And also, of course, the Youth Global Green Advocates organization, and that would move to globalize the youth and also just stimulate more education on various cultures and various ecological issues out of our realm. See, the issue I feel like in St. Mary's County is that we live on a peninsula and we're really secluded from this big world, especially as youth. We don't see the whole picture and it's not really our fault. And then this is just an example of a layout of upcoming events. This is not what it's really, these are not the logistics of the choice program right now. It's always changing, but yeah, we're gonna have an information session on Friday, but and then this is just our plan to, successfully meet our goals and initiatives for 2021. And that, it includes public advocacy, and improving the educational system and partnerships with the educational system. And then, just engaging and doing public outreach, And then this is the poster I had for the choice program. What would it have been? It would have been 2019, 20. So it was last school year. And it honestly is just awesome. This is our little logo, but that's subject to probably change. But still figuring out the logistics. I mean, if you come up to this picture, you just see you're starting out. This is not a huge idea yet. Here, towards the far bottom, right, we well, so the Choice program moved to create a card for veterans. So I I went throughout the entire school like scavenging for signatures, and I would talk about like what we were doing and how we were trying to thank veterans on Veterans Day and express we're so thankful for them and their work. And I was actually able to with the poetry club, which I was actually in, and also I just wrote a little letter, and we got over 150 signatures. It was really awesome, and it just shows how much determination can really get you. You know, they were so thankful and so kind, and it was really heartwarming to see like you know what their service and their diligence to protect this country really has brought them. So I mean, it's a huge experience to feel that and see that, and it's awesome. So, and those are the kind of opportunities we give if we have these kind of programs, and then that doesn't cost like anything, like giving back to your community costs like next to nothing. So, and then I was thinking about doing like legislation. So this is quite ambitious, but I was thinking about moving towards a more sustainable, like human dynamic in St. Mary's County. So what that means is essentially moving towards like net zero carbon and like moving to renewable energy, like getting rid of coal, and also doing like green infrastructure, like meaning like, more sustainable operations by businesses that are here, and like if they can't do that, maybe tax credit. Like this is something that not only would probably bring revenue, but also prove something to residents and other like companies that are here that this matters to us. If we could get this passed, it would be really awesome. And then I was also thinking about doing like, I mean, it's honestly just going to be bills, but it would be like a federal recycling infrastructure system where manufacturers would take responsibility for their single use products, because all it's causing, our recycling is causing a lot of stress onto those single source cycling programs, and some of them are ran by the state, and others just aren't. Like St. Mary's obviously doesn't have a recycling program. It has like recycling programs, like recycling centers, but it doesn't have a facility in which actually sorts recycling and takes responsibility for that. And it goes all the way up to Capitol Heights, actually. And when it gets to Capitol Heights, they sort it. So paper, all that stuff, it goes in separate, ways, and then it just comes together and it's categorized and organized systems. Yes, I'm simplifying this, but essentially, after that's all done and all that money goes into it, like funding the employees, all that stuff, you don't know what to do with it because the manufacturers are not taking responsibility. So, I mean, they could be getting revenue right now, but no one wants to buy these single-use products because technically it would probably be cheaper for them to just reproduce them. So it's a huge issue, and if the federal government stepped in, created legislation that all states could follow, it wouldn't be an issue. And also, these big companies and big corporations that are creating this waste, which by the way goes all throughout the world because of the dryers and which moves them everywhere, which is a whole other idea that I won't even get into because environmental science, but essentially it's just a huge mess, and we need to take responsibility as a developed country, as a country of consumers. Consumers. Like, we have to do something about this, but we're silent about it because, we're scared to jump into, private operations, and I totally get that. It's important to have those sort of provisions, but who are we impacting? What are we impacting? I know for a fact we're impacting health. I know for a fact as well we're impacting environmental health. Like, this is not an issue that we can just throw to the back of the corner anymore. This is important. Like, you may not know this, but the average human consumes a credit card worth of microplastics a week.
Mm.
Everything we eat is wrapped in plastic. And why? Because it's economically efficient. I mean, it's what it is, and I get it. But how is that impacting human health? Some scientists have found that the organs will release the toxins, but that is not finalized. And also that's not natural. It's a man-made compound. But regardless, I'm babbling. So I didn't even go on to this slide. That's what I was talking about there. So these are some of my ideas, which I could probably go into more detail, but it's probably best if we don't. So what are your thoughts?
I felt like you got into it there. They're
Sorry.
they're really good ideas. They really are.
That's a bad connection. Connection.
I don't know anything else to put in there. I think you got onto a lot of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, what do you think about like the recycling infrastructure in St. Mary's? Do you think it will be like effective? Do you think it's possible? What are your thoughts?
I think it's possible that we could like make a certain group for it, so it's not all over the board. I think it's possible with a lot of help.
Mm-hmm.
I think it starts with kids. I really do.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, we have recycling programs, so that's not the issue. Like, we recycle electronics here, we recycle all this stuff here, but it's really a federal issue, and that's why we're not trying to create, local legislation or state legislation. We're trying to create federal because manufacturers are just not taking responsibility. And I mean, it's something that's going to impact us for years. Like, look up a picture of Malaysia. Look up plastic pollution Malaysia. Look up plastic pollution in India. Look up plastic pollution China. It all tells a story that, manufacturers just aren't taking responsibility. And actually, years ago, probably, I think it was about 2 decades ago or something, the United States were taking all their single-use, like, recyclables and just sending it overseas because they were like, sure, we'll recycle it, because they were getting money from it back then. Like, but it was such a surplus because of consumerism and because of the unsustainability of the whole thing that, they just couldn't do it anymore because pollution was like getting out of control, and they couldn't sell it to anyone. No one wanted it. It was cheaper to remake it. So you see how that's like a really negative like loop, but it's not a loop because it just Okay, so imagine like there's like a plastic bottle. You drink water, hypothetically. And you drink this water bottle and it went on a prior adventure. But then after you drink it, you put it in the trash. And then the garbage system or however your trash is dealt with, they take it, it goes to a landfill. Or if it's a recyclable, you put it in the recycling, it goes to a sorting facility. Or it could end up in the water. If it goes up in the water, it's going to end up getting in the currents, in the gyres. It's going to spin, and it goes somewhere. It could end up on a beach anywhere in the world. So we're not just impacting our country here. We're impacting various countries and various ecosystems. So, so sorry. But yeah. So I guess, so you didn't have any thoughts on it? Fair enough. So I really don't know. That's all I really have for tonight. I don't know what we're gonna do regarding how it's gonna be presented. I haven't done any notes. That was just me, obviously speaking freely, as you could tell. But it's just if we are gonna present it, we're gonna be prepared for sure. I will make sure, and it will sound correct. I don't know how would you think about presenting this? Do you want various people to hypothetically present it, or just one person?
Where's the mute? I'm trying to unmute.
From my point, it would be, I would see it
You are
as
unmuted.
multiple people,
You want to mute? You have to unmute.
Okay.
but the way you say it makes you want to, it draws people in. It drew me in, for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
So it really depends on who says it.
right. This is a commission, and it's not my commission, it's our commission, and I that's very serious to me. So I don't know. It's something that we can figure out together, but it's really important that we be successful however way we do this. So, well, I don't know. Do I have any? I don't really think I have anything else for you. I'm gonna look at the minutes just to make sure. I already sort of reviewed them.
Well, I'd like to jump in and just say something.
Yeah, I
very
think we're good
quickly.
to adjourn. Are you okay with adjourning?
Can you hear me?
Oh, sorry, Cynthia.
No, that's okay. I just wanted to give you a little feedback. I didn't want to jump in early and interrupt.
Wait, I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
You're muted.
Okay. Let's see.
Can they hear you? Oh, wait.
How about now? Good now? Thumbs up. Can I see? Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Okay, so I didn't want to interrupt earlier because you were really on a roll and I didn't want to get in the middle of the two of you as appointed members having a discussion about this. First thought, and I was just jotting down notes as you were speaking, I work with several citizen advisory boards and members who have more experience as volunteers on citizen advisory boards than the two of you. And I have to say that I'm very impressed with this plan. I can tell that you've put a lot of thought into it. When you discussed it, you brought that passion and that interest in your presentation. And I just think that this is fantastic. And the fact that it's being aired, other people will see and hear what you've done with this report, and certainly I hope that will motivate other young people to want to get involved. I am wondering, since you're out of school now, right? Yes?
So somewhat. We have
Okay.
about 1 week left. So yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I was just saying we have about 1 week left of school,
Okay.
so
Okay, fantastic. So, so do you think, would you be available perhaps on a Tuesday? County commissioners have their business meeting, which is also, of course, televised on Tuesdays. So would you be perhaps available to attend during that time? You would have to request a time on the agenda, have an appointed time, date and time rather, to come and make this presentation. Is that something you might be available for or open to?
yeah, I could do that. It would just be so I got this internship, so it would have to
Mhm.
happen quite soon,
Okay.
or it would have to happen on like a weekend.
Okay.
But yeah, I could probably do that.
Okay, so let's talk offline. Let's have a follow-up discussion about what your schedule looks like. And Bree, the same with you. Certainly come for support, and Rebecca, and see if we could maybe set that up. Because again, you've put a lot of work into this, and these are very important points. And I certainly would love for others to hear this. Let's see, something else on the agenda. Your old business about about community awareness. So Latay wanted me to relay that she has taken the approved flyer and it's been distributed. It's gone to various youth-related boards or youth advisory boards, boards that support youth efforts like the local management board, local care team, of course, the public schools, libraries. So again, efforts are being made to get the word out that you're here. Even though you're few in numbers, you are big in energy, that is for sure. And hopefully that will motivate some of your peers to want to join you and take some of these initiatives forward. So that is all that I have to
Right.
to say to or add rather to the meeting. I just didn't want us to conclude without giving you that feedback.
Yeah, thank you for that. I didn't even think about looking at the old business. So I just want to say quickly about the community awareness. I think we should really do an informational session, and also I'd love to put the YC on the CSM like community website, which is like it has a pretty large number, and like it is really a community. Like they will look at what you're saying. So I definitely I have the flyer because obviously, but I will try and post that. Is that okay? I think since it's approved.
Yes, the flyer, absolutely, you can do that.
And did we ever hear anything back about like starting like social media accounts? Like like I have a LinkedIn, and since I have like premium, I don't have it for long. It's like a free trial. Since I have LinkedIn, I can post like the YC on my thing,
Hmm.
they can apply. I'll put the link of, board apply like on there. Like I can do that, right? Or no?
You're talking about the approved flyer. Is that what you're asking?
Not exactly like a volunteer posting on LinkedIn. Like I know we already said I can put it on like community website, but
I am pretty sure that Latay has already put that request forward. I'm gonna follow up with her and
okay.
probably get
Yeah.
back with you,
'Cause I can make that happen.
probably tomorrow or the next day, definitely this week. It's not gonna have to wait another whole month. I just wanna make sure that what I tell you is right in sync with what she's already done. But I'm pretty sure that's gonna be okay.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. I think that's all. Do you have
Okay.
anything to say, Brian?
I don't have anything to say. I'm sorry if I'm being a little quiet over here.
No, you're completely fine. All right, then I think if it's okay with Miss Brown, we can probably leave. So I motion to adjourn. Do you second?
I second.
Okay, awesome.
I think I'm muted.
Thank you everyone for coming tonight.